All right. Hey, everybody. This is Dominic D'Angelo of, where am I? Inside
And
the
this
Ropes.
is Rob Van Dam.
And that's Rob Van Dam right there. And this is episode, I want to say it's 17 of One of a Kind. And
Hey,
yes, Rob, how you doing today, man?
excellent, dude. Very good, man. This week went by so quick. I can't believe it's trash day again already. Like, it was like I just pulled my trash cans in from the curb and pulling them right back out tonight. I hope. I forget, like, sometimes a couple of weeks in a row and that shit piles up, but that's
Oh,
the
my
plan.
gosh. That's a tough thing. I know. I got a dumpster in the back of my apartment complex, so I just throw my junk in there, and then I don't worry about it. So I can only imagine it's like, yo, God, I would always forget to take the trash out. I know I would. It just happened.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But anyway, dude, all good. Fantastic, as the kids are saying nowadays.
That's the way to do it. Heck, man, it was fantastic seeing you this past weekend at Starcast. We did a little stage show and had a little interaction with fans and stuff. So that was pretty cool.
Yes, indeed. That
Hmm.
was cool. That
Yeah,
was
we got to talk about the Sheik and interact with some people, and then the fire alarm went off on us while we were still in the hotel, and so we did the job to that for a little bit, but
Yeah, yeah,
mhm.
and didn't hurt the tables one bit. At least not where we were.
Nope, not at all. We were not in the least.
But yeah, it was fun. Got to see a lot of friends. The Hardy Boys, hung out with them a lot, and Rick Steiner. Real quick, I saw Marty Jannetty downstairs. Real quick,
That's right. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of people were just like real quick. Jeff Jarrett and Karen Jarrett, Cody Jarrett.
Yep. And then
Uh,
you ran into Kawada too.
oh my God, dude! Thank you for reminding me, man.
Yeah.
I forgot. Like that flashed in my mind earlier because I was doing an interview for the Battle Creek show coming up for the radio, and I was talking about how the Sheik trained me so stiff no one wanted to work with us, and then Al Snow and Mike Kelly worked on us lightening up, and then in Japan they wouldn't react to us, so I stiffened up again. And I was thinking of Kawada, and that was so awesome to see him at Starcast because I can't imagine the last time I saw him. I mean, 99 at the latest. It was probably much earlier, probably much before that. And he looked great. He still it was almost emotionless for the most part, but he used to be heavier and have grays that went away, and he just overall always looked miserable. Maybe like Billy Gunn.
Maybe like Billy Gunn.
But he would always have that scowl, and just to see him, man, he thinned up. He lost a lot of weight. He looked healthy, and he looked younger. Actually, he must be on my program. It was awesome to see him, though. Yeah,
It was
and he's
good.
kicked the shit out of me and stuff. I said, I owe you some receipts.
Yeah, you did tell him
Like,
that.
what? Yeah. They're trying to translate. I was like, never mind, Jordan.
You had your Japanese down pretty good though.
He was laughing at it though.
Yeah. Was he? So he was always like he was very stoic, like yeah, very much was he always like
Yeah.
that too when you
Yeah, always. He was stoic, but he was really stiff in the ring. And honestly, I started wrestling in Japan when I was like 22,
Mhm.
just turned 22, a couple months before my first tour of Japan. So I was so young. Like I said before, I didn't even know how to fly. I was hanging on to wrestlers' coattails at the airport. Don't leave me. Like I was,
Please.
oh my God. Yeah, that's what it was like being over there. Can't believe I got on subway trains and stuff with those guys, but couldn't do it by myself, especially at that level of experience. But I used to just think Kawada hated us. I used to think that he hated Americans because some of the Japanese were, you know, were racist, prejudiced, especially if you went around Hiroshima. It was sad to be around there, and I remember going there with Test and Stacy Keebler, and I think Mike Kyoto was with us, and we all were like we didn't do nothing, but we kind of felt guilty. Like that's how That's how the bad feeling manifested in us, because you're learning about the generations and generations of family that are destroyed from the radiation, from the bomb that we dropped there. And anyway, we felt a lot of that when I started going to Japan, especially the smaller towns.
Mm-hmm.
And they have the right to tell you, fuck off, you can't be here, which is different than the United States. You know, several times we'd go to get in a cab or even try to go into a bar to, you know, grab a beer or something, and they'd see us and they block us right at the door and they say, Gaijin Nai. And at first, you know, we were like, hey, fuck you. You can't tell me I can't. And then it's like, oh, they can? Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. I guess I can't then.
My bad. Gomenasai, kudasai. But they can, and so it's different there. So I thought Kawada probably, and for political reasons, probably hated working with the Americans and us coming over and whatever. But I always just had that impression from him.
Sure, and like too that like lost in translation aspect of it all, where you're not like, you know, you don't know what they're saying, and you know they might not know what you're saying, and it's just like,
yeah,
how do you get that kind of dynamic there? You know,
there was one time just popped in my mind one time, and this was the turning point for me, because like I said, he used to kick me really hard all the time, and if I was too light coming in, I'd get no reaction, and I had to learn to change it, and that. I'm trying to look for the right word. That turning point, that spot in my history was a 6-man tag match, and it was him and 2 Japanese partners against myself, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Terry Gordy. And I was out there with Kawada, and he did something, maybe an enziguri or something, or drop toe hold even. Whatever it was, I went down face first, and while I was on my hands and knees, that dude Kawada gave me a football kick right to the face.
Holy shit.
Boom. Right. And before I even knew what was going on, Doc and Gordy hit the ring and chased him out, and then chased the other guys off the apron, and then, you know, came over to me and were like, are you all right? Man, that's fucked up, you know? And I was like, yeah, no, I'm fine. Don't worry about it. And Doc was like, kick him as hard as you can. And I was like, oh, believe me, I'm going to. And I was so stiff with him every time I'd work with him after that, until he finally was like, you know, take it easy or something. And then now I look back at it like, yeah, he taught me respect for the art of the business, and looking back, he did seem like an asshole to me, but by him doing that, I mean, he totally made me step my game up, which I needed to do.
Yeah, and it's like it's almost like a proving ground too, where it's like, hey,
quite the opposite from like grabbing someone's dick and then taking a flip bump. You know what I mean? Yes. Kawada wasn't gonna do that unless I could really fucking throw him by his dick, and that's the opposite between respect for the business and making a joke out of it.
Yeah, but 100%. It's like you're adding legitimacy to it, like when like, hey, if you can take this kind of shit and then this kind of punishment that goes down. And, you know, it just makes you better. Like iron sharpens iron in a lot of ways. So,
and you know, after that, it was like, yeah, I wanted everybody in the crowd to know they wouldn't survive a normal match that I would go through every night. So that's why, you know, really got into my selling and try to get as much as I could out of it physically every night. You know, and All Japan was about that. You know, we didn't have a lot of characters. You know, there was like Kamala. Well, he was the second Kamara, Ben Peacock, or Kamala too. Also, he wrestled as when they tagged. But that dude, he would paint his face and his belly. Patriot wore a mask. That was about it. You know, sometimes Patriot would have a partner. The Falcon or Jungle Jim wore a mask as the Wolf for a minute, but it was mostly about the athleticism, the competition, and what happened in the ring, and that was cool. You know, now there's other styles like DDT, which I believe is where Dick Suplexing guy is from. In fact, I'm pretty sure he is. And man, when I watched that, because I've been exposed to it twice. Once when I was there, because Noah ran a show that was co-promoted with them. and once since then. And I'm watching like this, like, oh my God, what are they doing? And it's like, have you seen it? DDT? It's so bad.
I've seen some. I think I've seen maybe brief stuff of DDT.
Well, I know bad is subjective, but I mean, it's gay over the top, gay, funny, comedy, gay,
like flamboyant, like
drop my
suspension of disbelief.
drop his trunks down to where his nuts are hanging out, and then teabag his guy and rub his ass back and forth across his face.
Oh my!
All kinds of stuff. That dude goes up to the top rope to squat down like he's gonna splash. The guy catches him and goes and sticks his finger up his butthole in front of like everybody. That's DDT. It's like a total different art form. Not for me, and especially, of course, I'm going to be offended because of what I've already told you about the respect that was kicked into me. But yeah, that's the other side of the spectrum.
Oh man, imagine Kawada and fucking DDT. You have to regulate.
Yeah, right. Imagine the Sheik.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Cut everybody up and set the ring on fire.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, was Sheik's reaction to when you worked in Japan? Like, did he give you kind of feedback, or did he kind of watch and see you in some of those matches and stuff like that?
Yeah, he liked Baba. Mm-hmm. I remember that. He liked Baba. He had a good relationship with Baba. He was happy for me. He knew I was gonna learn a lot over there. Yeah. I don't really remember that much more about him and me in Japan. I just know, Sabu was wrestling in Japan, but he was always for a while with a different company. It was FMW. Mm-hmm. I was always All Japan from February of '93 till I thought it was '97, but now I think recently I've read it was '99 when Mr. Giant Baba died and Mrs. Baba took over, and I did one more tour after that. And then Sabu, grew so big that he worked himself up from FMW to New Japan, and he was a big, maybe the top indie guy in the business, and he was with New Japan at that time, and then eventually he came over to All Japan with me, and that was great for me because he taught me a lot about how to get around in Japan, how to find food and a gym and a tan, no matter where we're at, what town. Taught me a lot of how to speak it and stuff like that. So I was grateful when he came over, and not so grateful when he started getting heat, because they would tell him, don't break a table tonight. And what's he do? Breaks the table.
Oh man.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. You got to cultivate some goodwill there.
Yeah. He's always stubborn that way.
Right.
He felt like it was right for business, then he just did it and just said, hey, they don't understand. Easier to apologize,
Right, yeah, ask for forgiveness later kind of thing.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, speaking of, what did I want to? Oh yeah, I wanted to hit up a little feedback here. I don't know if you noticed.
You got some polarizing feedback. I don't know if
I did. How about that?
Yeah. You got some people on there, some of them that are like, dude, dump this guy.
Yeah, they're like, fucking yes, man. What else would I call it? Still the Smiley Goon. I was called a mark several times. And listen, I think too, it's like, it was a lot of the cornet people. And they were saying that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. And, which by the way, I probably will go and watch. I haven't seen the video when he talks about my match with Jack Perry, which is, some of them think that we were talking about that, and I was only talking about my entrance and him saying that I looked stiff from that. But, stiffer than a porcupine's penis and Penfield on prom night, and let me see if I can say like 8 more times.
I do. I'd say kind of. That's my big.
I say, when I watch this back, I'm like, I say, that many times. What the fuck? They don't know. You telling them?
I say kind of and obviously a lot.
I probably will watch it, but I don't think that you were that negative. I didn't watch what you said about it, but everyone was like, he didn't say anything bad about RVD. I didn't think, and then, and I was just speaking on what you said about he didn't understand my Rolling Thunder, and I was just speaking on that. So I don't think I said anything malicious. Although I did offer that, if he thought differently because he thought that I was too old and too stiff, then he could eat a dick. I offered that.
Yes.
Or leave it on the table. But
yeah.
But besides that, I don't think you said anything too bad. But I know that you said something about that. He said something about I could qualify for
AARP. He mentioned that on the clip, and then he also nearing the end. He said something else too that was like, and it wasn't he didn't criticize like your moveset or nothing to that effect. It was just like overall, it was just kind of like nothing.
Well, I got you. You're gonna get more heat now for saying this. I'm not trying to do that. I should have just left it at that. But
I stand by what I said for the most part too, because it's like he was negative, and like that's kind of his shtick with all that stuff. And so. But
from all the comments, though, I look more forward to seeing it. Like before, I was like, I probably don't want to see what he said after the first part. But after everyone saying he was really complimentary of RVD, and that's rare, and he respects RVD, and hey, he said good things about you. So because the fans hit me with all that, I will eventually check it out. So I just wanted to.
I definitely encourage you. Check it out. I would like to get your perspective on it too. And like
whatever.
Yeah.
It's someone talking about someone else. But
Cornette didn't put down RVD. He was more critical of the circumstances of the match and RVD himself. He praised RVD being able to still go. And then
praise the Lord.
Yes.
I'd like to pass this praise on to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ.
And if you know anything about Cornette, he was actually massively complimentary to RVD in the match. Doesn't happen often. So I didn't pick up on that, but hey, maybe they saw something or heard something I didn't. But
maybe you had your dark colored glasses on and saw.
I did. Maybe I was being the one being negative. Maybe that was it.
Maybe, yeah. Hey, keep it down.
And here's some positive feedback. Josh Henney, who was on the Kevin Nash podcast, or the Nash and Friends, asked you about what he should be taking and stuff like that, and he got it. He got the kratom powder. It says, looking forward to trying this out. Thank you for the input, RVD. So.
Yep, I look forward to hearing back from Josh on how helpful, if at all, that kratom is for him. I think people were surprised that my first choice, when they asked what's something natural they can take for pain, they thought automatically I was going to go with marijuana. So that's not for pain. No. I mean, it's on my list, but I would definitely put kratom ahead of it. Kratom it is a ground up leaf from the coffee plant family. They make a powder out of it. Capsules. The capsules suck. The powder tastes bad, but that's what I deal with. People make tea out of it or put it in whatever. I put water in my mouth to protect my tongue, and then I dry scoop it and then gulp. And then swallow more. It tastes so bad, dude. It's like what was that shit at the Jamba Juice they used to sell that with that green like grass, like you're playing football and you're face down in the turf or something. Wheatgrass.
Wheatgrass, yeah.
In my opinion, it's like twice as bad as wheatgrass, but it works on your opiate sensors in your brain, and it works. And a lot of my friends that were hooked on opiates got off of that because they were able to take kratom, and it solved the same symptoms that they needed help with, which a lot of people, are looking for help with anxiety or just even overall mood. But, great sleep. Incredible sleep on kratom, and mostly for me, I take it for pain. Mm-hmm. It's like you don't need Vicodin if you take some, but a lot of people also get high off of kratom, and I often forget that because I don't know if it's because of my level of susceptibility to it. I don't know, but I would have to take a lot of it to start feeling a little buzzed, and I know that it is something people take recreationally, and people also can reportedly get addicted to kratom as well. So let me put that out there as an FYI.
Yeah, and moderation is always good, And you mentioned too, like when Josh asked you about what to take, you did say weed was more for tolerance than anything else. Like you're just
and culpability.
culpability. That's the word
That's
you
how
use.
I explain it. Really, like you got things that bother you or whatever, and you smoke, and then it's like I don't know what comedian it was that said, it's you don't give a fuck afterwards. I got that problem. I don't give a fuck. I got this problem. I don't give a fuck. It makes it so that it's like, okay, I do got that problem. Okay, I do have to cut the grass, but fuck it. Hey, it's a great day out. Sometimes it turns your mood around because it actually, I mean, it affects everybody different, but it tunes up my vibration, makes me feel better, and then everything comes across better then. But like for pain, it's more like it doesn't like go away, it doesn't block it. It's not like I would smoke and then be not cognizant that I'm limping or that my knee is not moving as good. But it would be like, okay, it hurts, big deal. It's not gonna ruin my day, or
Right.
I'm not gonna focus on it. Whereas with painkillers, they tend to actually do that. Like forget you're hurt, if they work good, if you got the right dosage, the right one that works for you. And kratom's more like that for me, where oh yeah, I forgot I was bitching about my back hurting earlier, something like that.
Yeah. Now, do you still take painkillers from time to time if you need to, or is it you just?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I was curious. Yeah, if you did that, or if you were just like, I got other methods to kind of cope and
Yeah.
deal with stuff.
Yeah, no, they're in my circulation of my go-tos when I need them. So, and like I said on Nash's podcast, I expect I would get a lot of pushback, which I haven't read the comments. I almost said condoms.
I read condoms all the time.
This is I didn't read the comments yet, but this is a stance and how I have felt for a long time. Drugs have a bad rap, because some people can't use them without abusing them. People want to take drugs off the market and blame the drugs. I think usage is one thing that's appropriate, and abuse is an entirely different thing. Most people that even consume prescription drugs, because we can argue about caffeine and sugar, whatever you want to, but with prescription drugs, most people that use pharmaceuticals do not have any substance abuse problems whatsoever. And I know this sounds insensitive to people that have lost somebody. Believe me, I've lost plenty of somebody's, been to too many funerals. And I still don't see how we would blame the pill itself. And then it makes it harder for people that could really benefit from that. People that, and who am I to judge who needs it? Like people will feel better if I say people that have cancer that are dying, fading away with pain, and it makes them feel better. But who am I to judge? Whatever it is, someone that qualifies and can use responsibly, why make it so much harder for them because somebody that got addicted and got out of control? For me, I don't see it that way. And Nancy Reagan back in the day taught us, just say no to drugs. Okay, so when you get your teeth worked on, you're not going to do drugs. When you have a baby, when you have surgery on your leg, when you get your leg amputated, you don't want anything to numb it, because those are drugs and you're using drugs. Or do you want to draw the lines? You know what I mean? And so then they came up with this Controlled Substance Act, which has categories of where they think all of the drugs should fall into line in consideration with penalties, really. And so it's like, okay, but they're all drugs. So do we say no to drugs, or can we say drugs overall are a good thing? There's a few drugs that, in a very small amount too, if you think about how many illicit drugs, street drugs are there out there that you hear of that are being used? Not that many. I mean, it would be really, really hard to come up with 10.
Right. No, it would be. It very much would be.
Yeah. And so for people to say drugs are bad, you use drugs. It's like, dude, you use drugs too. You just don't even know it, first off, because you draw your line, I guess, your imaginary line somewhere different. But overall, man, drugs work. That's why people take it. They take drugs to help them sleep at night. Ambien. Oh, you didn't know that was a drug? You're not counting that when you're saying drugs are bad? Come on. So overall, I just like to look at that subject for what it really is in its most literal context.
Right. Yeah. No, it is true too. It's like, and everybody, it's subjective to everybody. Like, it really depends on the person and your chemical makeup and all that kind of stuff of how you're going to react to things. And, and it depends on who you are. Like if you have an addictive personality or something like that, it might react to you differently and all that stuff. There's a lot to factor in. So, I'm with you. It's like people just have the closed-minded tunnel vision on how drugs are what they interpret as, so. But yeah, somebody I wanted to touch upon, I don't know if you ever ran into him or not, but he passed away yesterday. The Sheik Adnan Casey. Did you ever have any interactions with him? I know he worked in AWA and World Class, had a little stint in WWE a couple times, but 84 years old he passed away at.
I saw that, and I don't believe so. To the best of my knowledge, I don't know who the guy is.
Okay. Yeah. But I like his crazy backstory. He was like high school friends with Saddam Hussein, and then he had to flee the country. Yeah, flee the country in 1980 and stuff, and play college football. And so, yeah, I was curious and he went by Sheik Adnan Casey too, so I was kind of curious too if, him and the original Sheik ran into one another or anything. But, yeah, I wanted to see if you knew him at all.
Was he with Global? Was he with Global Wrestling? Do you know?
He might have been. I know he was up in that area, so like
I don't know. I just remember there was a few Sheiks, and when I was like breaking into the business, I was learning all these different Sheiks that were not the original, and that's all I thought of a lot of them,
Yeah, right. He's not the original, so you can't do that. And even when you type in the Sheik on Google, your Sheik pops up, the original Sheik, and it says the original Sheik. So
as it should.
As it should. So, let me see what else we got here. Oh yeah. So I did a New York Jets podcast a couple months ago, and we talked about my Jets fandom. But he made the comparison. He was like, so this is Scott Mason. He says in this week's mailbag, Mark Run asked if the new Jets Aaron Rodgers were a wrestler, who would he be? My answer is the real RVD. He says he's got a laundry list of reasons why. Some may surprise you. Here are those reasons and much more on the mailbag. But so what they were talking about too is what was that thing that Aaron Rodgers took? Somebody asked, has RVD ever tried ayahuasca though? That's that. Have you ever heard of that? That ayahuasca? It's like a mix that they do in like South America or something like that. And it's something that that Aaron Rodgers was taking or something. So
I've never done it. I think maybe I've heard of it. Like. When people ask that very question, have you ever done blank? Sometimes you hear shit you don't know about, and sometimes you hear it more than once. I think that was one of those where I heard about it a few times, but I have no idea.
I got no clue. It's something he took apparently, but no, he's a pretty unique personality, so I can definitely see the comparisons. I'll be interested to hear how they make that comparison. So, but cool. So yeah, what was my plan was. We were going to touch upon Tommy Dreamer, but I think I might table that because we got a lot of Ask RVD this week. And then, hey, we're going to finally go along and watch the stretcher match between you and Sabu. So that's going to be
one way to force me to watch wrestling. Oh, hey, there was one comment about last week's show that one of the people said, and they said, dude, when 60% of his answers are, I don't remember, you got to get some better questions because Did you see that one?
I didn't see that one, but
that was when you were going through year by year, and in 1998 in February 16th, do you remember the tag match you and your head against the Eliminators?
What was your reaction at that moment? Do you know?
Cool. Whatever, dude.
Oh, I guess I better get to it though. Have you watched any wrestling this week?
Ooh. No. No.
No, no wrestling
only a couple of little Twitter
clips.
whatever you call them,
Yeah.
little one move things or something. Yeah.
And I guess too, before we get to it, last week we talked about backstage conflict and stuff like that. Obviously, since that happened, CM Punk got fired from AEW. He's out of there, and moving on. I think at that point too, it's like both sides of the stories are coming out. You don't know what you take, what's legitimate or anything like that. But it's just like personality like CM Punk. It's kind of like you hear mixed things about him, and so you hear like he's got the locker room leadership attitude, but then you also hear how polarizing it can be. So it's just like when you move on from that, how does a big company, when you lose a big star, if you look at maybe what you did with ECW when you moved on and stuff like that, how do you think's a good way for AEW to kind of react to all that stuff in the roundabout of losing such a big name like that?
Regain balance.
Mm-hmm.
Regain balance. If you lost a heavyweight and the ship's rocking, too far in one direction, just put some focus on some other guys. WWE's always been criticized for being like a one guy company. You know what I mean? And it was Cena, The Rock, Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, but it really wasn't, but I think I'm like that too, especially socially. I'm more of a put all my eggs in one basket kind of guy when it comes to people that are real close to me, and then if it fails, then it hurts. But hey, so does getting your head cut off, and it's better than that. And so I think that it's not like a one star. It's not a one man show. It's not a one lead singer band that no one else matters, But I mean, his fans, I'm sure, will be upset. And he's got a lot of fans. I don't know if his fans are so loyal that they won't support the thing without him. Do they just come when he's there? I don't know. That'd be some hardcore loyalty there, but otherwise, yeah, just regain composure. Put your fist back up. Get ready for the next blow because it's coming. It's only a matter of time.
Only a matter of time for sure. And it's like a lot of people are saying too. Can't remember who made this note, but they said what they should be doing. I think it was Eric Bischoff. He said you got to focus on the creative aspect of Collision now and just really hone in on that. And then like CM Punk's such a big star, you highlight some of the other stars that maybe that didn't have that opportunity at that point in time, and maybe you can kind of just call it. Might take some more time to do it, but like you said, regain the balance, find the balance of it all. So.
Yeah. So that was Sunday, right? That he got fired.
He got fired. I want to say Friday. I want to say it was either Friday or Saturday.
Oh yeah, no, I think maybe Saturday. I was
it was Saturday.
It was Saturday.
Yes, okay, I remember. It was Saturday. Yep. Saturday.
Yeah, so I just saw him Thursday night. You know what I mean? I told you that probably, right? The Cauliflower Alley Club.
Oh, no, you didn't. I know he was there, and I knew you were going to be there, but I didn't hear about that. Yeah.
I got to edit the footage and throw it up on my YouTube, but he was getting an award and was giving a speech. Then he came down and talked to me, and he was in a really good mood and good vibes, really seemed like really happy and in the moment. It sounded like he was having a good time sitting over there at the other table by Mickey James. And there's a bunch of wrestlers in this Cauliflower Alley Club, as there always are. But and it's one of those things where it's cool to run into everybody, but you're sitting down having a $150 steak or something, and it's one of those deals. And I usually go to it every year, and it's for a good cause. And so. I felt a little closer to the news when I just heard that on Sunday, because it was like, it was like last night, right? Oh, the night before? It was just a few hours ago. And anyway, he'll be all right. But
oh yeah, he'll be fine.
Yeah, it's be interesting to see where he ends up.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, the landscape is kind of open. It'll be interesting to see if WWE has an interest in him, or if he'll go to like a smaller promotion too, and kind of, almost hit the reset button. But it's cool to hear he's in good spirits too. It's like maybe in certain ways, like maybe it's an escapism for him, like a load off his shoulders. In certain
Maybe
ways.
something other than wrestling. He does a pretty good job on heels. Playing that redneck.
Yeah, Ricky Rabies, I think his name is.
Okay, yeah.
Ricky
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows? But best wishes to him and everybody.
Yeah, I like it, Rob. Okay, so let's we like I said, we got some good Ask RVDs this week, and let's hammer through some, and then we'll watch the match. We'll watch the stretcher match going here. So, summer's almost over, Rob. So we have a question about summer. Clarence Alexander Pryor asks, "What do you love when it comes to the summer? Is there anything that stands out to you that you really like about the summertime? Is that your favorite season?"
It is. It is. Even though it gets close to 120 for a while here in Vegas, and that's pretty extreme. But there's a lot of really nice days too, mixed in there. And I guess my favorite part is the sun. I've always been a sun worshiper. If I'm gonna go out in my backyard just to grab something, I'll take my shirt off, and I always say, okay, I'm gonna get my 30 seconds of sun. And it adds up, like some people got to go to the beach and get all oiled up and be there for 3 hours in order for them to feel like they connected with the sun. For me, it might be working outside for a while, or it might just be standing out there. Could be stretching, could just be whatever. I could be in my own world, just looking up and feeling the rays. And for me, I miss that so much in the winter when it's cold. I hate waking up and I'm like, oh, it's cold again. And then I feel like this can't be good for my body because I'm flexing up and my bones are probably, cold. And I hate the cold. So
How cold does it get in Vegas? Like
it gets very cold.
Yeah.
Below freezing, yeah, and it's a different kind of bitter cold in the desert too. It's like it feels more like almost like there's as dry as it is. It feels like somehow the coldness like works its way in through your body somehow and hurts it on the inside. At least that's how I feel.
Holy shit! Yeah. Oh, man. That's one reason I didn't move to Chicago. I was going to move to Chicago initially instead of Philadelphia, but I was like, I don't want to deal with that. All the wind cutting through and the lake effect, you almost get there. It's like, holy shit.
And the snow. Oh my God. I'm fine if I never see snow again after growing up in it. Yeah.
I got to get the fuck out of Pittsburgh. All right.
You're in
Next question. Matt Guy asks, what does RVD think in regards to collective consciousness, and has he read any books that he would recommend on it? Also, is there any plans to come to the UK soon, God willing?
I don't have any plans right now. Anything booked in the UK to share. And when it comes to collective consciousness, I mean it's a real thing. It's another perspective of synchronicity, and I've been studying it for a long time, and it's like we're all connected through this like web of energy. And the way I try to explain it is, if you look under something look at something solid, say a fucking shoe, right? But you look under a microscope, it doesn't look so solid. It's a whole bunch of moving particles, and it's no longer that solid object you thought it was. And when you think about it, that's what I am, and that's what you are. Mm-hmm. Is you're a bunch of moving particles that like stick together in a field of magnetism that collectively make you appear separate from the air in between us. But all the air is also moving particles, and it's a different consistency. And the thing is, everything is one big swimming pool of energy, and we're all connected at the exact same time to some extent. Some people are more sensitive to it than others, but that's why, like, sometimes you'll be thinking about somebody that's like the other side of the country or the other side of the world, and right when you think about them, they call, and you just laugh it off. Ha! I was just thinking about you. But in reality, that's because they felt that vibration, like you're connected through that. And you know, there's people that can really, on a deep level, use this to their advantage to manifest a better life, you know. And it's like living in the magic of life, feeling like you're able to communicate on a different level with the universe. And as far as books that go, I think the Celestine Prophecy, I mentioned that before.
Yep.
You know, I think that introduced the universal consciousness to me, collective, you know, energy. And it's the only one that comes to mind where I can think of. I don't know if I've done any further research. Like you mentioned last week, you mentioned Carl Jung, and then when I left, my Instagram boom's trying to sell me a Carl Jung book or something. And you know, that's that same thing. And I've studied. I used to document every time, all day, and look at it. You know, see what I could learn about me and my path. And that got to, you know, where it's hard. It's like taking vitamins for some people or working out every day. It gets to where it's difficult to keep up with unless you have good writing habits. But I respect it and acknowledge it all day long and point it out. And there's always every day there's some just like mind blowing. Like what are the odds of that happening? You know, there's like at least 2 that happened today, but I can't think of what they were to share with you right now.
Yeah. Can you take that?
No.
Okay, you're good. Cool. No, I'm with you though. It's like I think that's such a neat aspect that happens, you know, and it's like you do have that connection and feel it. And it only happens maybe like once or twice a day sometimes if you're lucky, and it's kind of a cool feeling. I like it, Rob.
Yeah, I think, you know, that the more you're open to it, the more it happens. Just like, say, if you're a bird watcher, you go around, look at all the birds that you'll see in a day. You'll see so many birds than someone that's not a bird watcher that doesn't even notice. Oh, yeah, you're right. Oh, yeah, I didn't even see that up there, you know, like, huh. I'll be damned. It's because of awareness. You know, the more you put into awareness, the stronger your awareness becomes. So there you go. And I personally think that every time synchronicities happen on different levels too. You know, I mean, some are just mind blowing, and then other ones are like, well, you know, I guess, you know, I'm just trying to grab one out of the air. A few days ago, Katie was on the news. She was roller derbying.
Oh, I saw a clip, I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. She came home from that all excited because they filmed her, and she was talking about it. When she turned the TV on, boom, it went right to her. And it's not just, wow, what are the odds that they would happen to be running that clip? But what are the odds that she would happen to be on the correct channel? And, you know, and turn the power on right then, as opposed to kicking her shoes off first and then doing it, which would have messed up the timing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that things like that, I think the more, at least from my experience, I was able to peel back layers the more I studied one and related one to another. And so it wasn't like it was just 2 a day for me. I felt very much like even if I only noticed 2 in a day, I felt very much like that was like I was just getting the outer layer of understanding for it. And the more I studied it, I looked at it backwards, you know, to see which came first, the chicken or the egg. You know, did I manifest this, or did I know this was going to happen? It was already going to happen. And man, it's some pretty deep stuff.
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm excited because you got me kind of like in the mode of thinking about that more. And so now I'm going to do more research about it, because I bought like those Carl Jung books, but I can't read them. Like so hard to read. So I've got to figure out a good way to kind of like simulate myself with it all.
And the thing with the Celestine Prophecy is it's a fictional book, but it's based on real life elements of spiritual ascension for those of us who are, you know, inclined to appreciate that. And it talks about, seeing everything as energy. It talks about the, as he said, the collective consciousness. It talks about bettering yourself, about when your energy is picked up and you feel loved and just good, high off life. You feel better. You are better. You think clearer. You see clearer and better, and you're a better you because of that. And all this is in that book. If you can get through the fictional story that's happening as this person is going to Mount Peru, Mount Pikachu, whatever the fuck that is, and Pikachu, whatever it is. Pikachu. And anyway, if you can get through the story, chapter 1's really hard to get through, but if you can get through it, and he starts going through the first 9 insights that he finds to this manuscript that's banned by society for reasons of Christianity, and in the end, you learn that it's not different, it's one and the same, and it all fits together. And it's just for most people that I know, I think everybody that I know that's read the book, it's changed their lives, their perspective.
Wow. Oh man.
But it's so good that they made the nonfiction version, the Celestine Vision. They made a sequel for Insights number 10, also I think 11 and 12. And so there's been like lots of follow-up books. This guy, James Redfield, made this, even though the first one is a fictional story. So, you got to follow this guy on an airplane, which he happened to end up with a ticket, happens to be sitting by someone that he knows, happens to, and that's something too, is that's one of the insights. Everybody has a message for you. So,
yeah,
be open for that, pay attention to that, and get your awareness up and, see if you can translate that. Like, what did I learn from that encounter? Why did that happen? This guy reminds me of my teacher. There's a reason for that, and he's got a message for you. Maybe talk to him. Maybe he'll say, hey, your gas flap's open. I got it. I got the deeper message.
Yes. There it is.
Yeah.
Well, I'm adding it to my list then. I'm gonna order on Amazon. So, okay. Let's see here. Rob, Bobby Duncan asks, what was your reaction when Hogan turned heel at Bash at the Beach 1996? Yeah, I mean, you grew up a Hogan fan and like all that kind of stuff. What was your thoughts when he finally dropped the big leg on the Macho Man and joined the NWO?
I don't really remember how I felt. I mean, I thought it was pretty huge because he's like the ultimate baby face. He is the top guy that could in the industry that could possibly do that, as far as I could see. So I knew it was really big. I don't remember really if I liked it or not.
Yeah. Okay. No, because I was kind of thinking about it too. Is like he played a heel like in early WAF days, like way back when, and then I think in the AWA too he was one. But like to go that level, you got so accustomed to him at that point with Hulkamania and the red and yellow, and just like boom, it did shake things up for sure. So, yeah. All right. Let's see what the other one we got here. This is a pretty interesting one. Matt Godfrey, 87, asks, if you could main event WrestleMania with someone from ECW, who would it be? So if you had to choose somebody that, say in their prime, in their ECW
Supernova.
Oh, no way.
And Roadkill.
Danny
Doring, Chris Cherry.
Oh, there you go.
All the unexpected, the most unexpected answers.
Have a fatal 4-way.
I would wrestle Sabu.
Yeah, that's a good one. Can't top that one. Would you have a stipulation to it, or would you do a straight up match, do you think? Or like just an ECW one? ECW style.
Was it main event WrestleMania?
Main event. Yeah, main event.
Maybe I would do RVD's first barbed wire match.
No way.
I wonder if the match would be as good because I can't bounce off the ropes, and that takes away a lot of my shit. So I would have to consider that as well,
Yeah. Would you kind of like that kind of challenge though, being like, okay, how am I going to adjust myself, and what am I going to do to?
Not necessarily, but I mean, if it's good business, it's good business, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I
Yeah.
like it. I like it. All right. Now you might have answered this one before, but I can't remember if you did or not. So several letters up there as a response. I've always wondered, why did you pick the frog splash to be your finisher? Now you had it set up, I know, in the earlier days where it would be just part of your move set. And then, like, you wouldn't even sometimes get the pinfall off of it. So how did you kind of decide on the frog splash for it?
So, a wrestling promoter from Tampa, Florida, named Ron Slinker, he discovered me. I gotta get the other end of the quote so you don't quote the rest of my paragraph. In USWA, he was there working a little bit with Bill Dundee, but mostly there to have his eyes on his son-in-law, Dennis Knight / Tex Schlesinger.
Yeah. Midian.
Yeah. Midian. Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was there for that, but he saw me and he said, "Kid, you're going to be world champion someday, blah, blah, blah." He brought me down to Florida. He gave me the name Rob Van Dam. He got me the job in WCW with Bill Watts. Bill Watts said, "No, I don't want to use Van Dam. Come up with something else." Ron Slinker came up with Robbie V. And it must have been either during the WCW run or maybe shortly after. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure on the timing of this, but I was using the split-legged moonsault as my finishing move. And Slinker said, "It's a pretty move, but it's soft. And, most of the guys you're wrestling are a lot bigger than you. You need to come up with a finishing move that's more impactful." I was like, "Damn, really?" But I'm doing the splits and doing the moonsault. It's cool, man. It's cool. And he's like, "Something more impactful." And I thought about it, and I thought, well, what could be more impactful than me jumping off as high as I can possibly get and just pouncing on my opponent with all my body weight and all that momentum. And I like to fly anyway, so I'll just work on, jumping higher. And that's how I came up with the using the frog splash as my finishing move. I used to arch and do a pretty arch in the air and then like full down at the last second to try to catch myself as much as I could. And I broke my wrist in a match with Stevie Richards in '96. And after that, instead of doing the pretty arch back, I started like doing like I do now, where I kind of crunch in at the hips a little more to peak at the top and then come down from there with all of my impact. Which, by the way, I can probably hit somebody even harder now that I've come up with the Van Terminator. That arguably has even more impact.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. Now, obviously Eddie had his frog splash. Did you guys get territorial about it, or were you just like, hey, we got our own style of it, no big deal?
Yeah, it was never an issue. And when we tagged, we had fun with it, doing it off opposite corners or jumping across to, each other's closer opponents. And it was, just part of the true life story. So that's the best.
Yeah, and your guys' both were so different too. You could tell from the style and the execution of it all. They were their own unique way of doing it. So, cool. Then, okay, this one, he gave feedback, but I kind of wanted to get his question part of this. This was Spicoli 420. He said, at the end, who did you ride with the most in WWE besides Sabu? Was there somebody else that you rode with a lot while you were there?
Mike Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sean Stasiak, I rode with him for a long time. And Booker T.
Yeah.
That completes my list. I think
so.
I'm pretty sure those are like regular, like as we would say, road wives of mine.
Did any of them Wild Quirks riding with them, or any pet peeves or anything like that you can think of?
Mike Awesome was a germaphobe, and I really got a kick out of that. I'm germ conscious, you know what I mean? But he taught me to even take it to another level with his awareness. But what was so funny was like we would always laugh, and we still do, at the fact like when we go and sit down to eat, we can't get up and just go wash our hands and come back and then just chill until our food comes. We got to time it because people are going to come over and want to shake our hands and stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
And so, you know, if you go too early, you're going to find yourself going back to the bathroom several times. And so that was always funny. And so Mike had this system, and like whenever we would be at a restaurant, we would sit down. He would he would look around and say, okay, you know, if anybody's going to come to us, hope they come right now. And then he'd wait till his food gets to him, because before he's going to wash his hands, he wants to handle everything. So he's going to grab the ketchup bottle, and he's going to use that first while his hands are still dirty. And then he's going to use the pepper, you know, the salt, whatever the condiments are. He's going to touch all of that first and get everything ready. And then he'd look both ways, you know. Then he'd say, I'll be right back. Then he would go and he'd wash his hands. He would come back, and when he would sit down, someone would come up and say, oh, my God, RVD, Mike Awesome. Hey, I'm big fans of you. And put out their hand. I'd be like, I'd be laughing so hard. I was crying. I'd be like, oh, God damn it. And he'd be like frustrated, you know, like didn't see the humor in it at the moment because it really meant a lot to him. He really wanted you got to pick up a hamburger or something. And, you know, this dude was just pumping his gas, you know, touching the nozzle and fucking riding down the road with his hand on his balls in his pants before that. Ooh, come on, dude. We're at a table.
Yeah. I'm eating here. Jeez. All right. This is a funny one. Bitch Adams, some effing 90s guy. You're trapped in a room for 24 hours listening to Bill Alfonso blow his whistle or somebody lecture you on marijuana use. Which do you pick? So a lot of Bill Alfonso whistling or somebody lecturing you.
I never was bothered by Fonzie's whistle, but 24 hours of it in a room would be a lot to take. I think I'd go with the marijuana lecturing because, you know, as an advocate and someone who prides myself on having a pretty extensive education on the subject, I like to listen to both sides of the argument, you know, so I like to find out what kind of propaganda is still being pumped out there as information when it's not credible. And I like to hear any updates that anybody has. You know, it's funny that someone last year was like, you know, they have a case now. Somebody actually did smoke themselves to death. So now it is possible. Like, really? So in the history of the planet, there's one person. So now what changed?
Right.
You know?
Right.
What changed? I mean, whatever that person's genetic makeup, not that it was real anyway, but anyway, I choose the latter.
The latter, yeah. Yeah, and it's like, and you know your shit, so you're able to have any good counter arguments. Yeah, taking that whistle, I mean, yeah, when he's doing it during a match, it might be a little different, but 24 hours in a room might be tough.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, Rob. Well, it's time. I've been putting this one off for a little bit since we've had so much other stuff to talk about, time constraints and stuff like that. But we'll pop up this match. It's the stretcher match. Took place. I have it in the notes here in 1996, August 3rd of 1996 in the ECW arena, and you versus Sabu. YouTube Chris, I think, says this is your guys' rubber match. At this point, too, how were you assimilating in ECW at this point? Were you kind of like sticking close to Sabu and kind of still feeling your oats kind of thing, or was it more so you're getting along with everybody and kind of seeing where this promotion is going for you?
I was loving working this program with Sabu. I was loving where it was going, and I loved the idea of the stretcher match because I had never heard of that before, where you have to be carried on the stretcher all the way back through the curtains in order to lose the match. And I just thought, wow, we can probably be really creative and have a lot of really cool things happen in this match. So I was really getting into the ECW. I was still new, but I was getting solid reaction from the crowd, to say the least. And I was enjoying my position that I was earning, the attention that I was getting, looking forward to this match. What I remember mostly about it is Sabu doing a moonsault out of the ring off the second rope onto me on the stretcher, and his shins just nailing the guardrail, just crack. It was like someone hit the guardrail with 2 baseball bats.
Joey Styles even makes mention of it too when that happens.
Oh, brutal.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Brutal.
Before I start running this though, Tony Khan was at this event apparently. He
told me that.
Yep. And you know what? I think I found him in the crowd.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Let's see that, because he told me personally that he thinks that night I became a star.
Yeah.
You know.
So okay, it's obviously blurry and pixelated, but I'm thinking this is him in the orange shirt right there. If you see him.
Oh, how would you know? How would you know, dude?
How would you know? I'm only gathering because the man sitting beside him has a mustache. His dad, Shad Khan, has a mustache, and he looks disinterested. And I remember him saying that his dad was not a wrestling fan, but he took him there just out of the kindness of his heart. So I think maybe that's Tony Khan. Can't tell, can't be positive, but maybe it is. Who knows?
And by the way, the odds that I would also be wearing an orange shirt right now when you point that out, that's one of those lower level synchronicities.
How about that? See?
Not blowing anyone's minds, but still, if you did a random statistics check, and find out how rare an orange shirt is, and what are the odds that we would both have it, and you would point that out.
No way, that's true. That's true. Is your shirt plain? Is it a plain shirt? You got a plain orange shirt? That plain pink right here. That's what I'm wearing. So, jeez.
I cleared this with Taz. Don't cause no
you
problem.
Cleared it with Taz? All right.
Yeah,
I didn't clear this with Bret Hart, so I might be fucked. So. Cool. So, all right. We can just fire it up.
Boom.
Let me make sure I got the right screen on. I do.
PP. You want to come up here? By the way, Dom, I may have worn. Oh, Sabu's got orange pants.
Oh, man.
And I was just going to say, I may have coincidentally, if you want to call it that, wore this orange shirt because of the stretcher match. I remember the stretchers being orange.
Yeah, I think they are. I think you're right.
Maybe that's why I'm wearing orange. And because of Tony Khan wearing orange.
How about that? That's true, yeah. And then, hey, I changed the background too. It's your tiger stripe singlet.
Yeah, no, I noticed that, and that's orange too. But I did notice that. That looks cool.
Yeah.
Everybody's favorite outfit.
No doubt about it, man. Now, why did you? I kind of like the gi. Why did you get rid of the gi?
Because to you, hopefully, depending on if you're being sarcastic or not.
No, I do. I liked it.
Okay. Yeah, so it looks like a karate gi, but in Japan, it's like a bathrobe.
Oh, okay.
It's like something they wear around the house, and so it's kind of like funny to them that I would wear that out to the ring and act like it's like it's a karate gi.
Yeah.
And I thought it looked really cool like that. And then like Sabu would laugh at me and say, "No, they're not gonna respect that because it's a house robe."
Oh, okay, like
kimono.
Okay, so more of a kimono, yeah, more of a kimono.
Yeah.
I get you.
But I think Giant Baba kind of wore one, or maybe his was a robe. I don't know. It wasn't a karate gi though. His wasn't.
This was neat because I immediately he was going for like a double leg takedown and stuff like that, and immediately sparked in my head oh, Sabu was an amateur wrestler. So
yeah.
There's that.
Oh, how do you like it? Mine hurt worse. Mine hurt worse because I drop kicked him in the leg with toilet paper coming out of my boot. I had a foreign object.
You did. Look at that.
Yep. That hurts way worse.
Much worse. You guys fucking lay it in right here, it looks like.
Always. Oh, hit him with the toilet paper. I did. See,
You got it.
Yep.
Now, how was John Finnegan as a referee? Did you like him?
Yeah, I did. You know, I was so green here. Like looking back, if this is '96, I've only been working like 6 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
6.5, seven maybe. But it's like that's like not much time at all. It's funny to watch it, and to the fans, it's like, you know, that's just a international superstar. You know, I'm wrestling in Japan. I've wrestled in WCW and whatever, but it's weird at this point in age to look back at me like that, you know, when I was 25 years old.
Right, but to your point though, it's like you are already that you were like at this point you wrestled down in Georgia, you wrestled like WCW, you were in Japan, so it's like you've already kind of cultivated a pretty good resume of experience at this juncture where it comes to like learning all these different types of styles and how it works. And,
I did this interview earlier, like I said, for Battle Creek, and they asked me, dude said, he said, you started in WCW, right? And I said, well, no, I did a lot of work before WCW. That was my first really big company that I'd been to. But even just with TVs, my first TV would have been USWA in '90, and I think it was 91 though. Why do I think it was 90? It had to be 91. It had to be 91. Weird. I usually remember this stuff.
you
This
were
damn weed. It's CTE. So anyway, I was on USWA, and what must have been 91. That was my first TV, and then South Atlantic Pro Wrestling out of Charlotte. My first championship belt was a tag belt there when I'm in front of the Piggly Wiggly with the mullet. If you've seen that picture.
yeah.
That was my first tag team belt, South Atlantic Pro Wrestling. Then I went down to Florida, and I wrestled for Eddie Mansfield at Universal Studios, IWF. That was my next TV. So I had that all before I went to WCW in December of '92. And then that was, you know, my first like big company contract that I never turned in.
Yeah. But you were saying too that you were making more in the indies at that time than you were making with WCW, being under contract with WCW, right?
Correct.
Yeah. Now, in this match too, and I'm sure this was always kind of the case at the ECW arena, such a tight spot in between the guardrails and the ring. Did you kind of like that aspect of it? That you could do a little bit more athletic kind of things, or was there just pros and cons to both of that, having that guardrail so close to the ring like that?
Pros and cons to both. A lot of times it was too close.
Mm-hmm.
And then that could be an issue when you don't have room to work outside the ring at all. Then other times it's too far away. You know, when I was on AEW recently, by the way, if you compare how far away their guardrail was to this one, I mean, look, there's a fucking what is that? Is that a 8-foot table, 7-foot table, and it already goes across and has room on both sides? There's not much space there.
Not at all. And you'll see in a little bit too that you do make a good adjustment.
Might be a 6-foot table even, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. And in AEW, it was like people were like, I don't know, that might be too far to do. I'm like, dude, I got this.
You fucking nailed it too. Yeah. You nailed him.
Big difference from ring to ring, stuff like that. The hell is he doing?
Got him on the rope.
No. Oh. Sure, that was stiff as fuck. Dude, sell something, would you?
Come on, Sabu. What the heck?
We didn't used to sell shit back then. That's one thing when I look back at it that I didn't know at the time, but it was like, he didn't want to go to the floor. He wanted to be there.
You wanted to just be there, okay. There's some moments though where Sabu, and I mean, he makes it look real. So maybe some of it is real. Like I can't tell.
Dude, we
Honestly,
used to beat the shit out of each other, so everyone knew we were hitting each other for real.
right?
That was, well, that's the way we got trained. And me and Sabu were always like that. So working with each other, we were going to be able to be like that even more. And with these, you know what? I'll be damned. I thought that fucking gurney was orange.
No,
In my mind, I remember the stretchers being orange, and that blew my mind. Maybe it's just because of Sabu's pants, but obviously I was wrong. I don't know. Let's see if they're both like that, because
yeah, no, I think there's a second one. Yeah, there is a second one. So maybe you might be right.
and it might be orange.
Yeah, it might be orange.
The one where he nails his shins on the guardrail, I remember that being orange. I don't know if it was or not.
Yeah.
How silly. Oh, he got off himself.
Now, were these shoot EMTs or were they just people that helped?
No, they were. Yeah, they were. They were, but they were regular. Like they weren't just like called for this match.
Yeah,
they were hired to be there like every TV show.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the live events as well, but every TV they would be there. And man, Sabu would give them shit. Is it like he would treat them like they're the boys, but they're not. They're real.
Yeah.
PFPs, like they'd like be wanting to look at him after match sometimes, wanting to stitch him up. Do you see that move I just did, by the way?
Yeah, the fall away power bomb there.
Yeah, I quit doing that because it kills everybody. But that's a move I've always loved doing. It's like I pick him up kind of like a power bomb, but I step to the side and then I float him down, and I've done that in actual situations. So it's one that I'd like to do in the match, but I got tired of everyone saying, "Oh," so I gave it up.
See, I would think too, just as a visual standpoint, that doesn't look as bad as like a regular power bomb. Like,
right? Yeah, I think I agree with you. Or the fucking
yeah,
or that fucking Patriot, Del Wilkes, Bob Holly, Jackhammer,
Alabama Jam or Alabama Slam. Yeah.
No, you're right. I think you're right about that. No,
yeah,
that's a good point. I'm bringing it back.
Bring it back. It's coming to Battle Creek.
Brian Cage, you're gonna get the fucking step to the side.
Get the fucking
step out power bomb.
Yeah.
Someone's probably already doing it by now, but I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
All right. Well, there's something.
Bring it back. What's old is new again. Oh. Damn. Oh, what do you got going here?
Give me that chair.
Now, do you remember around when you started coming up with the Van Daminator and stuff like that?
Yep.
When was that exactly?
That was before my first ECW match.
No shit. Oh, no shit. So it was. Oh, wow. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, like when I was coming to wrestle for ECW, I'd seen him on TV, and whoa. Ooh. Oh, I think I might have seen an orange fucking gurney to the right.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
I am validated. Thank you.
Now, this is a wild spot right here.
Yeah. Pretty far out there, dude. Can he make it?
Oh! That gurney looks orange, Rob.
Yep, thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. So you've seen somebody do Van Daminator before you?
No, but I'd seen the TV and I was intimidated by the style. All adult crowd watching, waiting for you to slip or mess up so they can make fun of you.
Yeah.
And
that's what you're about to do right here.
Their chants and you fucked up.
It happens. They start chanting.
Dude, yeah, that might have been the last time I heard that. It was humiliating. Like I'm already killing myself.
Yeah, right.
Inside, like already, like and then on top of that, they let you have it. But so anyway, I was intimidated going in because I was in Georgia And the kind of shit that worked in Georgia wasn't going to work up there. You know what I mean?
Right.
I couldn't be like USA. You know what I mean?
That's wrestling down here.
Yeah, come on, everybody, come on with me. Like that kind of shit wasn't gonna work, and I thought I need to come up with some fucking cool moves that'll get me over there. And I had a pen and paper, and I was like, maybe I'll throw the chair up, throw a chair up, and then do a jumping, spinning back kick into their face. And I just wrote it down. It was just one of several, just like I stand on the top rope and hold the chair and then dive off and do a helo onto the chair, onto the person. And I wrote that down. I didn't know one from the next necessarily that it was going to be that much better and then it was going to be winning me championship gold, for the rest of my career. But that's how I came up with it, dude.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're getting carried out here.
Maybe I can lucky flip him on a chair. Wrote that down.
Oh, so much different innovative stuff that you used to do. And even when I'm watching these other ones, I'm like, oh, I've seen a variation of that, but something.
Yeah, and that's what ECW was about. Was always outdoing ourselves, like every time, and adding another level to make it even more extreme. And when I learned that about ECW, I really got in sync with it because that's what I was doing. Was always trying to outdo and one up my own self.
Yeah.
And I saw Paul was doing that with the damn TV shows. I was like, there's no way they're going to be able to top that next time. And they do something, lights out, lights on. There's someone they'd never expected to be in the building, and the crowd will go nuts. I'd be like, man, he did it. I can't believe he outdid what we did last time. And then I got right in sync with that and said, all right, helo over the rope. All right, next time I'm going to put a chair there and go and clear the chair and the rope. All right, next time I'm going to put 2 chairs there, clear both chairs and the rope. And that's just, that was what it was about for me during that time of my career.
Wow. Now, was there anybody else that would really try to reinvent that you were really noticing that they're like, holy shit, that person's always trying to do different shit and everything. Besides Sabu, obviously there's a lot of different stuff. But
Sabu did, and somehow overall, like I said, Paul seemed like he was doing that with the actual show.
With the show itself, yeah.
Yeah, so it seemed like that theme carried out, and different people did it in different ways, like Raven, Sandman, whatever, they might do it by shocking everybody, you know what I mean? Like the crucifix or whatever, just shit that would be like, oh my God, I thought they crossed the line last time, but man, they just jumped over the line this time. And it was just overall, I can't remember specifically about people doing it with their moves.
Was that it, Rob?
Yep. You see it? Cracked pins.
Put it back here in just a couple of seconds.
They need to put him on the stretcher after that.
Right? Here it is.
Yeah. Oh, maybe he rolled. Maybe he spun enough to where it hit the back of his leg.
Yeah, I think he at least maybe caught one of them. Ooh.
Yeah, it didn't look fun.
Nope.
Oh, we're both on stretchers now.
It's got a race. It's a race. Who's coming in last? That's what you need.
That poor blonde lady. I started talking about he would just abuse him like backstage. Like he'd come back there like with a big gash bleeding, and he'd be sitting there, and like she'd come over, and try to just look at him or something. Like, get away from me, like get away from me, I'm fine. And he'd like turn into the Sheik.
Yeah.
And they took so much abuse because he didn't want to get stitched.
Was there a lot of that too? Like a lot of that proven mentality of like, hey, I don't need medical help or anything like that. He's just like, I'm toughing it through. Or was there kind of a lot of that mentality backstage?
Sabu's crew, for sure.
Crew. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It might have just been our clique. Now that I think about it, I don't really know. I could imagine someone like Candido would probably take stitches, maybe. Lance. I mean, a lot of the guys, I remember in TNA, by the way, when I wrestled Brian Cage and I busted his lip open, and we were having this conversation backstage afterwards me and Dreamer were telling him not to bother getting it stitched up. And I was telling him, just super glue it. I would totally just super glue it if it was me. They kept going back and forth because the medics were like, they were agreeing, like, yeah, basically what we use is like super glue. And they were saying, but we're professionals, and we if we stitch it up, boom, boom, boom. And he goes, "What should we do?" Well, if you're asking me what you should do, give me some super glue, I'll fix you right up. And anyway, he ended up getting stitched up, and a lot of people would choose that because that's recommended. That's probably it's safer, healthier, more sanitary. But man, last time I got busted open really good. You squeeze it together so that it's almost overlapping. You squeeze it extra so that there's no openness.
There's nothing. Yeah.
Or no glue gets in there. You put super glue on and you hold it for a little bit and you let go and you're good to go. And the scars go away. So Sabu taught me that early on. And these medics a lot of times would argue with him. But he would have some serious gashes sometimes. And they just wanted to pour peroxide on it or something. And he would be like chasing them away.
Get out of here.
In full Sheik character. Yeah.
Now, would Mike Awesome, he would take stitches, wouldn't he? Because being a germaphobe and stuff like that.
I don't remember it ever happening, so I don't know. Probably so, though.
Yeah,
you said, probably so. I think maybe it was just Sabu and me, and I don't know. Like we would have made fun of Louis if he would have got stitches. Bobby Duncan Jr. probably would have went, I'm from Texas. I don't need that. Yeah, it's hard to speak for other people, Taz or the Eliminators or Dreamer. I guess it would depend on circumstances, but Dreamer was on my side telling Cage, I think, that he didn't need stitches. That's the way I remember it anyway. Yeah.
A little Franken-Center action there.
Nobody takes that move at the right time anymore, by the way. Like everyone, the person on top, and on the mat, not necessarily on the top rope, second rope, whatever, but every time when someone does it, it's the head scissors actually, and everyone does that side slam into the twirly head scissors. Like for a while, you had to see two of those every single match, but they always fall first. And then the person goes,
Yeah, I've noticed that too. It's like, it's a little delayed now and stuff, it seems.
Weird. I let it pull me over.
This was a good spot here, Rob. This is what I was talking about too, where you had to kind of make the adjustment for this, the confines of the guardrail, so to speak. Like you catch him.
Oh, shit. Oh,
boom. That was good. That was like a hell of an adjustment right there.
Yeah.
Jeez.
I was using that Fisherman Buster for a finish there for a little while, and it wasn't a good idea.
Yeah? What?
I think Sabu. I think maybe Sabu gave it to me because I don't remember why. I think he thought I needed a devastating finish, and I remember I gave it to him in the ring and knocked him out. Boom. It's in one of these matches. Maybe it's the respect match, I think.
Oh, okay.
It's the respect match where I beat him and he has to shake my hand because he's knocked out and he's stiff as a board when I'm trying to pin him. I couldn't hook his leg. His leg was stiff and straight out. He zombied on me. And after he went back to the dressing room, Paul told him, you have to shake his hand. He's like, what? He said, Van Dam beat you. You have to go out there and shake his hand. It's a stipulation of the match. He goes, no, I don't. He didn't beat me. Bullshit. And I also remember doing that move to Hack Myers, and it seems like I might have hurt him too.
He was a name I saw when I was researching here a little bit.
I remember doing it to him, not for sure if I hurt him or if he was just scared of it. I can't remember, but I remember either way, bad energy with doing it. So
yeah.
I probably only did it those 3 times. The one through the table might have been the best, the least.
Well, I think he gives you one here. He gives you a Fisherman Buster here coming up.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, he's still
better not.
From you.
He better not.
Oh, shit.
I got him. I got you.
Rolling
Got
legs
a
there.
counter for your springboard.
Springboard. Yeah, I was reading Meltzer's news. Oh, here it is right here. You give him a Fisherman Buster. I think he either reverses this or he reverses
Okay.
one. There it is. Boom.
Oh, you son of a bitch. You weren't
How
joking,
dare
man.
How dare he?
Oh, no. What's he going to do with that chair?
Oh. Sabu's got some plans.
Sean Finnegan over there wondering if he left the shower on at home.
Oh, look at that!
Oh, cool.
That was pretty sweet.
Damn.
Good
Couldn't have
timing there.
expected that.
Yep, good timing. Oh, they're calling. He's calling out the stretcher for you, Rob.
For me?
For you.
Shit.
Nope, Sabu's shoving him off.
But I kind of shielded myself a little bit.
Yeah, right?
I probably took the worst to that one. Oh, where am I going? Whoa!
Oh, no, right on the stretcher.
For real. Is he on it? He's on it.
Now he's on it.
He wants to be on it. He's ready to call it quits. Get him out of here. He's done.
Over it. He's over it.
Yeah. Jim Molyneux. Push or pull, bro. Which way you going?
Come on, where are we going here? He's rocking quite the mullet, too.
Oh, I know what's coming up. I remember this.
Something here, Rob.
But yeah, I feel like, hey, get going. I want to get some trying to be further. Oh.
Oh, is this
I have a feeling that's match. That's got to be it. Nobody would survive a jumping top rope helo to the stretcher to the.
You're out. You're out cold, Rob.
Damn it.
Oh, no.
I'll get you next time, Sabu.
You may have won this one, Sabu.
Next time.
It wasn't for those crazy kids and that stupid dog. Would have had you.
Next time, Gadget. Next time.
I did not expect a Dr. Claw cameo. There it is, Rob. That's a great match.
Yeah.
Man. Oh. Where does that stand out for you for your matches with Sabu?
Well, I mean, at the time, that was my favorite match. You know, I remember that. I don't know. I really liked the match that we had in TNA when he was bald, when he had that weird little face where he shaved his head.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked that match a lot too. You know, I don't know which one would be my fave. We had one or two after this, I think, in the series of the Matter of Respect, or maybe it was before this. I don't know, but I know we did at least one more after that. I'm wearing the same outfit. I remember doing a leg drop off the bleachers in the back. For me, it'd be like just doing a new move that I hadn't done like that before would be what it was about for me. You know, like, oh, cool. Next time I'm going to go up to the balcony and do this. And, you know, a lot of us, I think, did think like that. And that made the day better for us. Like we were crossing a new line somehow, you know, in growth. We were growing. I mean, I think I worked him in WWE probably too, but I don't even remember. Like, I don't think I did anything memorable. I wonder.
Did you work him at all in WCW? Did you guys ever have a cross path?
No, we weren't there at the same time.
Okay.
But my favorite was the USWA when I had the short blonde hair and the blue trunks, and I was Rob Zukowski, and he was Samu.
He was Samu?
Yeah. That's what they called him on TV. They fucked up.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Was he Samu the Elephant Boy, or was he just Samu?
I think it was just Samu.
Yeah.
I think Sheik told him Sabu the Elephant Boy. But then when Sheik wasn't around, then Sabu was like, "It's just Sabu."
Just Sabu.
Okay, we got you. We got you, Samu.
Samu, you got you down.
Yeah, well, that's
Was it always the plan for you guys to like be rivals starting off and then turn into a tag team, or was that kind of just happen organically because you guys were both so over?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Who plans?
Who play? That's right.
I don't know.
The best laid out plans are unplanned. All right. Rob, do you have a RVDology this week?
Yeah, what did we talk about last week, dude? We talked about passivism.
Yes.
Come across
Yeah. I sometimes too, a lot of the times, especially when it comes to when it is an experience like Starcast, say, for example, you see like a lot of people interacting, or you're in a moment where, like, even if you're at a show, like there was All Out that weekend too that took place, and you see people get under intense or pressure situations. And I was pretty cognizant of how I was reacting under those situations, when it'd be like, hey, if there was a stressful situation or things were going down, it was just like, and if I'm interacting with somebody, whether they have like a little bit, more swag in the business, or kind of more pull, or, anything to that effect, it's like, where do I kind of lay the line of like how I want to establish myself? So I was kind of thinking about in that line of terms too, over the course of the week, especially at Starcast, I think too. So yeah, I definitely took some stuff from it this week, Rob. And,
Cool.
It's always something I factor in too when it comes to aspects of like, hey, kind of, and I'm a very passive person in a lot of ways too. It really takes a lot for me to get charged up, or to kind of be like, all right, this is where I'm drawing the line. But I kind of do know my threshold, and sometimes I think I'm a little too patient with some of that stuff too. But always something to work on. Always.
That's the thing too, is where do you draw the line? Because a lot of times I think afterwards too, like, man, I should have stood up for myself there. I shouldn't let that person talk to me like that,
Right.
But then in the end, it's like, you know what? Who cares? Just whatever. But that's on them. You know what I mean? Something's wrong with them, not you. Just go about your day and don't pay them no attention. And sometimes that's better.
Right. And you were saying too last week how like you put out that negative energy and you feed it more if that happens too, when it comes to that kind of aspect too. And it's like,
so true.
That thing with you and Scott Norton could have escalated if you handled it in a different situation, but you remained like passive. You weren't like timid. You were passive.
De-escalate.
Yeah, you de-escalated the situation, and that's how to handle it, man. So, amen to that.
So
right.
Yeah. So this should be a short one. Spark it up if you got one.
There we go.
Enlighten one up, dude. I've really been enjoying and appreciating the feedback that I've been getting from these RVDology segments, and I am going to do some more full episodes soon on my YouTube. But in the comments, I get some really good messages that go to my heart about how I've helped them in person. I was at a signing last week and in Chicago, Starcast. And man, one of the dudes that was standing there talking to me, man, he really got through to me. It made me feel really valid and good about what I do. And he was like, man, he goes, you help a lot of people. You inspire people. And he said, you inspire people in the ring, all these wrestlers. And now you said you inspire people with your RVDology, and it's good stuff that helps us all out. And he was particularly talking about anger issues, and something that I had said about controlling your anger. And I said, those who are closest to your heart can hurt you the most. And that's true, because those are the ones that you trust. And that kind of is a transition into what I want to talk about for a minute here, which is loyalty. And loyalty is a quality that I respect and is often looked upon as being maybe too much, too important. I don't know. That's why I want to talk about it right here. So loyalty, when I think about it, like I just mentioned, I said earlier that I'm more of a put all my eggs in one basket kind of person when I keep people close to me. But if I think about how many people I think would be loyal to me, I'm fortunate because I'm a celebrity. There's a lot of people out there that I haven't even met, and people that I've met, touched, impacted, whatever, that would and do follow me and are loyal RVD fans. When it comes to a certain depth of loyalty where you are obligated all the way to have this person's back, that can be a good feeling when you have somebody like that. You know, Katie, for instance.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have best friends that are closer to me than my wife, you know. And of course, I know she's going to be loyal to me and vice versa. But when you think about it, when you're a kid in junior high and you tell your best friend, dude, nothing's ever going to come between us, man. You know, we're bros. I got your back. You got me. We're us against the world. Then you realize one day, well, that's kind of gay. If you're not gay, you might want to have a life partner that you may feel actually deserves that more than that promise you made way back in the day. But does that mean you're not loyal because you made a pact with them? Prospectively, if you want to look at it that way, how about when loyalty causes you to break the law? How about when a police officer does something, goes too far, breaks the law, and then the other police officers that are on the scene, they're not going to tell on them. They're going to back the blue because of that brotherhood. They're on the same side of the blue line. So then now if one person goes down, everybody goes down because now they were all accomplices to this law that was being broke. It happens all the time. Let's look at the mafia, right? You take a pact, an oath for life that you belong to the mafia first, above your family, above your children, your wife, anything. You swear if you break your oath, you die. That's a crazy commitment, but that's the way that it works. Okay, now you're part of this criminal empire. They rob, they extort, they bully, they scam, they murder. And then if it comes down to it and you get busted and you can go to jail for life, or if you give them a little information on the other guys, they're going to give you a break, right?
Right.
Anybody in that position that breaks their loyalty and then turns is looked down upon as a rat, not just by their mafia family, by the cops even, by everybody. They're like, how treacherous for him to betray his oath and turn his back. Everybody looks at him like that. Everybody. Who looks at them like they're a hero? But really, what are they doing? Reporting murderers. They're exposing crimes. They're getting criminals off the street. Isn't that a good thing? But because they betray their loyalty, even cops look at them like, what a piece of shit this guy is. That's the dichotomy of that situation. Now, I said loyalty is important to me, and it is. But also, you got to have enough judgment. How much loyalty do you owe this specific person? Do you owe them your life? Would you give your life for this person? You don't have to say yes in order to feel good about yourself. If it's just a person that is a friend, a family member, whatever, it's going to be subjective, and your loyalty is based on your values. Okay? Some people live with DTA. Don't trust anyone, right?
Right.
I can't tell you that that's a wrong way to live, but it is inconsistent with RVDology. I have to trust someone, If I get hurt, it hurts. And then you know what? I do the same thing again. I'm going to find someone else, hopefully make better decisions next time and trust someone else because I believe in people. I think some people are worth trusting. I think a lot of people are more loyal than other people. I can't give up on anybody. If you're someone that believes don't trust anyone, it sounds kind of lonely.
Right.
Sounds kind of lonely. I mean, I get it if you're in enemy territory and you're a spy. If you're in the jungle and all the animals are going to eat you, sure, don't trust anyone. But to go through your day and really think that that's such a great motto, you're going to get it tattooed on your fingers or whatever. That's a conflict with how I open up my heart, how I choose to live, and how I manifest my life. Let's take that same situation. If you don't have anyone that you really trust, you're probably not opening up to everyone. You're probably not really sharing all of yourself, which means no one really knows the real you.
Mm-hmm.
That seems lonely. Let's look at it the other way and flip it around. Who do you have that would really be loyal to you, that really trusts you? If you don't trust anyone, how do you expect them to trust you? What's that say about you? That also seems lonely. It's a good feeling to be trusted. Sometimes it's weird. Sometimes I feel weird when there's money around and someone walks away and I'm like, I'm not, your money's sitting right here on the table. There's certain situations, where I feel like, wow, this person really trusts me. When I'm doing productions, I do movies, TV shows, I'm always impressed with the amount of trust that people have when they like rent their house out. Same thing with parties, we had a big house party, someone that I don't fucking know. There's 100 people there. I'm like, hey, where's the bathroom? You go in the bathroom and they still have their toothbrushes out and stuff. I'm like, wow, that's really trusting. At the party, I think maybe irresponsible to be that trusting. With the production crew, then I feel accountable. I'm like, wow, they told me to change in this bedroom that's actively somebody's bedroom, and they trust me in here with all this. That makes me feel, like I said, accountable. So that gives me a different kind of feeling. I told this story on RVDology. When it comes to loyalty, I like to mention this situation that I was in with Dango one time. I was we were at the mall, Lakeview Square Mall in Battle Creek, looking for something to do. We got invited to this party in Kalamazoo. We went over to check it out, wouldn't you? And then we're at this house and we don't know anybody there except maybe like 2-3 people that we, knew from Harper Creek, a different school. And this was during my punk days. You know what I mean? We would go to parties looking for fights, We wanted girls, but we didn't know how to get the girls. So we thought maybe if we could show them that we're tough, of course the girls would want to be with us, right? It didn't work, but that's what our brains told us at 18, 19 years old, whatever. But I remember we're in this house in Kalamazoo, and I got like a wife beater tank top on, sticking my chest out, walking through because I was a huge 180 pounds, I had to show everybody my big muscles. And walking through the kitchen, and it's pretty crowded. And I clearly saw this dude get pushed into me by his buddies. But the guy, boom, stumbles into me and he looks up at me. And instead of saying, excuse me, or I'm sorry, and feeding my ego, he just looked at me and laughed. And he was obviously drunk. And so I took that as a challenge. And I'm like, you want to step outside? He's like, I don't care. And we all went outside. We all went outside. And that's what his buddies wanted, by the way. They pushed him into me and they set me up.
Oh.
And I fell for it. So I'm out there and I'm surrounded by like seems like 30 people in a circle, just like in Lionheart or one of these everyone's boom boom, and this drunk kid, I'm just throwing him around, like every time he dives at me, I sidestep him and throw him down, boom, you know, step back and kept throwing him down, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna fucking ground and pound him a little bit, and I threw him down, I got on top of him, and I get ready to start pounding him, boom, his brother actually gave me a big football kick, much like I talked about Kawada giving me earlier.
Yeah.
This one I never saw coming, and this one put me out.
Wow.
It is one of the only 2 times that I can say I've been out. This was the most out that I've been. While I was out, everyone jumped in the circle. Boom, 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 boom. His guys are holding my arms behind my back, holding me up while they're punching me in the face. Dango jumps in, and he gets his ass beat. And he knew he was going to because we're outnumbered, but that's what a loyal friend he was. Boom. Yeah. These other 2 dudes, Jason and was it John? Anyway, these guys from Upper Creek, we saw their reaction. They didn't do shit. Well, I was knocked out. I didn't do anything anyway, but they didn't do anything, and they were right there and watched it. Next thing I know, it went from being loud and everybody, yeah, and us being surrounded, it went to like silence, and there's nobody around. And I'm looking around like, what the hell? And Dango's picking me up, and those other 2 guys are there. And I'm like, what happened? And he's like, they explained over and over. I couldn't retain the memory, which I've seen happen a lot. This is the first time it happened to me where I kept saying, wait a second. Wait, where are we? And Dango would say, Jesus, Rob, we were at the mall. Yeah, we went to the mall. I remember that. What happened? We got invited to the party. Anyway, they had to explain it over and over. And, I had a big swollen up eye, looked like the Elephant Man, and I was concussed. That was the first concussion that I got. And everybody had jumped in, the smoke had cleared, they were all in the house. These 2 guys from Harbor Creek were telling me it all happened so fast that we didn't know what was going on until it was too late. Dango was the loyal friend, and that's true loyalty. Knowing he was going to get beat up, he jumped in the melee anyway and got beat up with me. The next day, there was another party that everybody was going to be at. I can't remember why Dango couldn't be there, but I went looking for these 2 guys by myself, and they weren't there. But I went to the party with a big swollen up Elephant Man face going, Jeff Gray, because I felt like I got suckered by that brother. I never saw the kick coming. I wanted to get him back. And I'm glad they weren't there looking back at it. You know what I mean? There was nothing good would have come out of that. And I didn't have good intentions. And who knows what would have happened. But I'm glad they weren't there the next day. Looking back, if that was my kid, I would have said, hell no, you're not going back looking for them the next day, you idiot. Look what happened to you. Big busted up lip and swollen eye. But my point to that story is I'll always remember it for the loyalty that my friend Dango had, and how many people have someone that's that loyal that you can count on to go through something bad with you and know that you're going to go through it together and come out together. It's important.
Super important. Heck yeah.
That's it, dude. Ending with a question, ask yourself that, where does loyalty rank for you? Giving it, receiving it? Do you deserve it? If people are loyal to you, do you not deserve it? And is it too important?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's always, like it says, that all depends on who you're interacting with too. It's like, and how they.
And it depends on your values. Let me say this: it depends on your values, which we've talked about a lot. And like if your bros think you're not being loyal to them, if you don't go watch football on Sunday, and instead you want to hang out with your girlfriend, and you're like, oh man, they're saying I'm not loyal to them anymore, dude. If it hurts because I'm asking you to choose between them, you should have your own priority list and know where things, people, places where everything falls on your priority list, at least to some extent. Be cognizant of that. It'll help you make your decisions and not feel bad about them.
Right. And sometimes you're in a situation too where your loyalty is going to be put into question, and if you make a decision, there's no right or wrong decision sometimes, but the decision you make, you might have some regret. But either way, you're going to kind of get that too. But the loyalty kind of goes both ways too, because you hope that friend or person will be loyal to you and understand where you're coming from too in certain aspects.
Yep, and you know how expectations go. So if you're loyal to somebody, maybe expect them to be as loyal back, and then maybe sometimes they're not. But if you're doing it for the right reasons, then maybe that won't bother you, and you'll still be loyal to that person. Like if you're a parent, a kid doesn't know. A parent, I don't have kids, but I got to imagine they would crush my heart all the time.
Right?
I'd be like, "You're lying to me." Oh my, you know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine. Just stuff that I don't have in my normal life. But you're hiding that from me. What is going on here? I thought we had a bond. But
I thought we were close.
Yeah.
I'm your dad.
Hopefully you remain loyal to the kid, even if the kid seems to do something that makes you feel like your loyalty was breached. That's got to happen is what I'm saying. Got to happen is what I'm saying. But yeah, priorities, dude. Have your priorities. And I give you permission to rather be with your girlfriend than your bros right off the bat. But also, ask yourself, do they deserve your loyalty? And if so, why? And that's a question you can ask about anybody if you're questioning whether you should be obligated to spend more time with them, do something more for them. You know what I mean? A friend calls up, wants me to help them move. I'm like, oh my God, does this person think I'm that good of a friend? Way better a friend than I think I am, am I so loyal I'm going to help them move? And it's it's okay to be aware of where that particular quality falls on your priority list of values.
Exactly. And sometimes those won't line up either, even with family members and stuff like that. So great
Battle
stuff,
Creek,
Rob.
Kit Likens was the first guy to let me in a ring. He had the ring in his backyard. He was a kickboxer. He was a promoter. And me and Dango, Robert and Eddie, we knocked on his door. Dude, we wrestle in the living room. We're going to be wrestlers when we grow up. We got to get in your ring, dude. And he was the first one to let us in the ring. He trained us to kickbox. He let us open at his kickboxing shows with wrestling matches and stuff. I'll always be loyal to him because I believe in loyalty like that. I went to other dojos when he was gone for a while, and these guys didn't like him, and they dogged him. And at that young age, I didn't have quite the stiff structure of values that I do now, and I kind of got swept into that for a while. And I've talked about that too. Maybe not on here, but I have on Instagram. I have on RVDology, where I kind of got swept into all that, into the gossip, into someone else's perspective of the guy. And as an adult, I can say, now that I'm back there, I owe him a phone call. He wants to know when's a good night for him to put on this event when I'm in town for the Kellogg Center show at the end of September in Battle Creek, because he wants to do something. Maybe it's an awards show or appreciation show, something, I don't know. But the fact is, I'll always feel loyal to him. And when he can do something promotional to maybe help him in any way by dropping my name, then boom, my loyalty says he deserves it. And I'm like that. I'm like that with people.
Heck yeah, Rob. Yep. Lil, I've known you so far. You're very much like that. So it's been very cool, man. So good stuff. I like it. Yeah. Cool. September 30th, right? Battle Creek. Is that when you're going there?
Yeah. Battle Creek, Michigan. Also, we'll be talking. This weekend, Katie has a match in LA at the Globe Theater. It's an all women's show. What's dude's name? Rampage Jackson is like the general manager, the GM of it or whatever. And then it's all ladies. And so that's what's going on this weekend. And then we'll talk again before the following week. I'll be in Hamburg, Pennsylvania.
Oh, all right. My side of the state or country here. All right. Cool, Rob. Yeah, you'll have to keep me posted about Katie. We'll talk about that next week too. That'll be cool. Sweet. As far as anything else goes, guys, follow the RVD pod up above there. Go rvdpod.com. You can get all the clips. Full episodes coming up there. I found a little workaround maybe with how to get the full episodes up there a little bit quicker. But yeah, if you guys tune in, want to get it early, go to the Premier Streaming Network down below. My point right there. We go down below there every Friday at 4:20 p.m. You get the full video episode right here on Premier Streaming Network. So
bonus fact on loyalty. I'm so loyal to people that have been there, long term and gotten into my inner circle. Anyway, I have an agent in Hollywood, and he told me like a few years ago that as long as he's represented me, he's never made any money off of me because I always turn down the auditions he sends me. And when I get work, it's outside of him. I'm like, are you serious? Like, he works hard, sending out not just me, but other people, sends out all the pictures, confirms I got these people. Here's all this, and then he gets all the info. Anyway, I feel bad about that. And he's a friend of mine. And so after he said that, I started bringing him in on projects that I would maybe not even necessarily need a middleman. And I'd say, hey, I got this producer wants me to do this thing, and can I have him call you? And he would earn his 10% right away by increasing the pay so that he was taken care of on top of it, and he would make my conditions better. And I was like, wow, man, and that's just me being loyal to him. And so that's just something that stuck out in my mind because that's something I wouldn't have to do, but I feel good about it because loyalty is important to me.
It is important. I think it definitely fulfills something, an aspect of a life that, people, you put DTA. If you're like that, yeah, how is anybody else going to trust you too if you feel that way about
Yeah, and some of those people, they're just loyal to a cause, not to somebody. And like I said, that's one way to live. See you next week, Don.
Yep. See you next week, Rob. We'll see you guys next week here on One Look At It.
Everybody.